So sitting as you choose on the floor, maybe standing. If you're standing, just feel your weight spread through your feet. And if you're sitting, I want you to think of that length up the back of your body, pulling you lighter through the head. Nothing on the shoulders. If you struggle to stay still, just focus on your breath, the pace of it. You can wiggle your fingers if that keeps you a bit more occupied. We're just going to keep this light and relaxed. And if your head starts to wander, just bring it back. No worries at all. Thanks for joining us, Sarah. Nice to have you. You're just on time for the good bit. It's all good bits here, isn't it? Okay, so we've just got 30 seconds to go. Find where that breath sits. Is it quite high in your neck? I tend to get quite a lot of breath in my neck, but we want to try and bring it down here. Feel it in the diaphragm. Open up the hips with that. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Finding again length in the back or grounding in the feet, just depending if you're standing or seated. Lovely, perfect. We're going to bring hands to center line now. Don't worry, you don't have to pray when you do it. It's just a nice place to have your hands. We're going to go through a nice rotation with the waist. So twisting. Focus on navigating the stretch with your back shoulder. Keeping the hips grounded and then changing sides. And as with any mobility move, we start with the range that we have. So we're starting small. And then we progressively build into that range. A little bit like when you're lifting weights, right? You're not going to go for the biggest dumbbell on the rack right from the get-go. But you do want to progressively work up to that big boy at the top. And it's the same with your mobility. You know you do. We're going to do 2 more on each side. Keep lengthening. Or if you're a runner joining us, the same, right? You're not going to go for full pelt pace right from the start. That would just be utter chaos, unless you're doing a sprint, obviously. Okay, last one. Lovely. I'm relaxing down from there. Okay, I'm going to get you to lengthen one arm out at a time. Flex the fingers in towards your face. You might not realize it, but most of the movements we do in mobility class are relevant to weighted exercises that you'll be doing in the gym. So they are all designed to help you with that. So I'm not just going to get you to hold it like this. You're going to pull the fingers in and we are going to move through this. You're going to take the arm up overhead, out to the side, and then round to the front. Okay, and I'm going to do 5 of these. I'm sure there's a name for this somewhere. I'm sure I used to have a name for it. But it's really, really good for any built-up tension in the forearms. We're going to address some upper mobility, upper torso, all the way to the neck in the seated position for a while. So feel free to grab a pillow if you find this a bit uncomfortable. Good, and I'm progressively focusing on pulling my fingers in more and more and trying to get 90-degree angle with the wrist. Last one. Now, the theme for today's session is rotation. So we're going to go through lots of rotational movements. And let's change sides. Lengthen the wrist out. Again, get a good feel for it. Pull it in. You might feel the muscles in the underneath side of the arm working quite hard to pull back and flex the wrist. And we're going up, round, out to the side, back to the front. It's a funny little stretch, isn't it? But it feels good. I really like it. Try to keep it unconventional. And try to focus on exploration of our bodies through lots of different movements. Rotation is such a great way to explore. Not only does it feel good for the joints, obviously it's a natural way for us to move, just to take our body in these different planes, rotational planes, but also it can be quite fun, and I think that's really important. Okay. 2 to go, and just notice what's happening in the shoulder here at the front. Check in, is it equally as tense? Again, for you desk-based people, which is, let's be honest, all of us, we do tend to get strains in the wrists and whatnot, so this is quite a good one to go through. Okay, we're going to do a reach and roll exercise, but just with the single arm. So you're going to make a fist out front, take it to the side, drop the shoulder into the center, and then rotate it and open up the palm. Make a fist, drop it, pull it back, and open all the way up. Good. See if you can rotate from the wrist and then all the way up to the shoulder and then in reverse separately. Good. Open up your wrist. Lovely. Like you're saying, where's my money? There you go. Excellent. You know I need a pay rise. Okay. One more time. Just focusing on how that feels. Awesome. Let's change sides. So making that fist, taking it in front, find the arm level with the body. And again, we are dropping from the wrist, crease of the elbow, shoulder, and then in reverse. And open the palm. So I'm left-handed, one of those weirdos, and I can really feel, I saw some nods there. Yeah, I can really feel that it's more intense on my left side. So you might feel that as well. Dropping in. Every now and again, checking with your breath work. Where is it? Is it already climbing up the neck, or can you bring it quite low? And one more time. Perfect. All right, so we're looking at smaller creases of the body. Let's go to neck here. If again you're starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable on your back, it is quite a long time to be seated. Grab a pillow, or for this one, you can come and sit on your heels, and that might feel a little bit better for you. Now I'm just going to guide you to take your chin up a little bit without sticking it forwards, but you're just going to rise it slightly, and you're going to take some small, really small circles with your head, just taking your gaze a little bit up. You're not quite looking to a light bulb, you're more looking to the corner of the room. And you're just doing weird, small little movements with your neck. And it should feel quite relaxing. Just notice if there's anything happening in the back of the body, if the shoulders are wanting to jump up. So we're starting up top. We will be working our way downstairs to the hips, the spine. Good, let's take it the other way. Think like nodding dog, but not nodding dog when you're on the A1, like nodding dog when you're getting stuck in traffic. Lovely. All right, so relax from there. We're going to do the same thing, but with our chin slightly tucked down. So I'm not looking at my belly button, but let's say I'm not quite texting, just slightly up from there, but chin tucked, face back. And the same thing, light little circles. Really do keep it small. Looks really funny, right? It's supposed to. We're not here to look cute, because we look cute anyway. We're just doing funny little circles, getting the flexors going, changing sides and extenders of the neck. Breath, where is it? Harder to breathe down here with the neck closed up a bit more. One more. So it's all about rotation today. Good, and coming up. Let's take it to the shoulders. I hope you can see me with the all black on black on black clothes. But we're going to make some small shrugs, that are circular. So shoulders drop down and then up to the ears. Really exaggerating this movement. Lift Again, it's rotation through the joint here. We do these quite often in our quadruped position, and we're just taking it upright to begin with. After last week's or the week before's work on small corners, so fingers and toes, really got me loving exploring these smaller movements. And let's go in reverse, up and back. And notice how your neck has a tendency to stick out when we do that. See if you can work on isolating that movement to the shoulder girdle. Breathing, breathing. All right, so we're going to come on to our hands now. At any point, if the pressure in your hands becomes quite a lot, feel free to take rotations, rolls through the wrists, or maybe pressing them together lightly at the back. Coming on to all fours, I'm going to go really simply for hands behind the neck, reaching, tapping the elbow in, reaching, lifting, open with the elbow. We're going to do 5 of these on each side. Lift and open. If you're starting a little bit later, don't worry. I've got some separation between my knees here. I'm trying to keep my hips steady so that I can feel that from the belly button and up. Maybe a couple more if you started a bit later. The shoulder blades. And then changing hands, spreading the fingertips. Nice and open, midway between the knees. I'm just going to show you from a different angle so you can see as I go through 5, 4, 2. Last 2, taking the gaze with you. How does that feel in the neck? Making all these observations yourself. Lovely. Back to your tabletop position with all 4 points on the ground. Fingertips again. I'm going to bring one arm, take it behind, one hand behind, elbow pulls back, open the arm at body height, sweep forwards and in, and then changing side. Bring the arm behind, pull the elbow back, extend at body height, full circle sweep to the front, changing side. Every time I bring the hand behind, I'm thinking about opening through the chest as the elbow wings to the side, reach, full circle, and back. Notice is your bum starting to stick up and do this twerky thing. Tuck it under, keep it strong, nice and stable. We're just going to keep going through this. We've got 3 more on each side. Breathing with it, always, always. Just letting your body know that it doesn't have to be afraid of these tricky places. It will do a world of good for you in terms of helping you to own those new spaces, those new ranges of movement. To be able to be free within them. Mobility has a lot to do with control. So we're controlling with the breath, finding new spaces. Here we go. We've got 1 more on each side. Now with your cars, so articular rotations, any rotational work, you will get crunching, clicking, clunking. That's all totally normal. There is a lot going on inside your body. It's not just necessarily your bones grinding like we sometimes think, which sounds really gross and painful as well, doesn't it? So I'm just going to refer to my class list here to check we're on the right track for our next movement, everyone. Who knows what chaos we've got coming up next. Yes, okay, so let's come onto our bums. Bring the arms behind. There is a plan. There is a plan. Bring the arms behind, fingertips pointing behind you, and opening chest. We did this one on Monday and I thought it was really fun, and I saw some of you quite enjoying it, so we're going to come back to it. Lifting up and over with the arm, think front crawl, and then front crawl, back crawl. Let's change sides. So again, we're thinking rotations, right? Now making sure the arm that's supporting you is locked out, and you'll notice I am slightly leaning back with my arms. Yeah, that looks good, guys. So just some of you might want to raise your chest up ever so slightly more. Think peacocking. Think bloke in a bar on a Friday night, sticking his chest up. Been a while since we've had to deal with that, hasn't it? Good opening. Back again. So this is going to be a really intense one for the chest for some of you. But if you think about how your shoulders are when you're seated at your desk, this is, almost exactly the opposite movement that we're trying to get them through. So it is really, really good for combating your forward rounding posture. Check your head. Try to relax gaze and breath. We're going to do one more on each side. Inhale, back and over. One more time. Excellent. And now we're going to work our way down to the spine a little bit more. So thinking a little bit more about rotation, but starting to incorporate some hip work in that as well. We're going to set for 90-90. So one shin forward, the other at our side. I hope you can see my knees okay. 90-90 is something that I say probably about 20 times a day. I love these, they're so good. And the reason is because with the back knee facing inwards, we get to try and work on our internal rotation. So the way that the knee comes in the way, your adductors, you'll feel that stretch there. And with the front knee at the 90-degree angle, we get to work on its external rotation because the knee is out the way, just to kind of break down what those funky gym jargony words mean. So that's why we love it so much. And we're going to do this on both sides, incorporating that spinal work, as I say. So come to reach forward. If you've got right knee forward, right hand, vice versa with the left, comes to meet the knee, just in front of it. You're going to reach up and open. Really try to create some space from wrist to wrist. And lifting open. Yeah, the pole dancer inside of me wants to make this very, very extravagant, but go for it. Try to bring some grandeur into your movement and see how that creates a bit of a stretch in itself, right? So I'm pushing away from the floor. It's never too early to put a little bit of sass and a little bit of style into your movement. And again, as you're pulling, because you're trying to control the movement, when you're thinking about creating quite, nice shapes, you tend to pull a little bit harder. So that can create range from the inside as well. You're ultimately making tension in your body, which will create stretches. Lovely. All right, let's change side. That's hard going on the shoulders now, isn't it? Lots of reaching, lots of squeezing, lots of tension, as we say. So second side, setting up, adjusting torso forward, see how that feels, getting a feel for it first, and then bringing that hands to the front. And again, maybe the first couple, as we said right from the get-go, are just quite passive. You're just kind of imitating the movement. But as you go through, putting a little bit of flourish about it, putting a little bit of tension into it. So good, inhale, open up. I feel that in my upper shoulders and back. Keep locking out that bottom arm. So mid back here, and we're also working into the hips as we rotate, keep the knees down. Now looking a little bit more at the hips, they've probably got a bit of warmth about them. We want to just start to hone in on that towards the end of the class and finish up with hips, because that's to be honest, that's why we're all here, just to get the hips. We love the hips. pigeon pose. You might want a pillow beneath the back knee. If that feels a bit gnarly for you, that's cool. Go ahead. I'm going to bring my heel in nice and close for this one, and I'm going to bring the back knee pretty close to it. I'm not coming all the way down. If you're used to yoga, you're not sliding all the way to the floor. You actually lift this here in this version, so that we can all bring our elbows down. If you've got mobility from here, then you can begin to slide to the floor, and I would start a little bit more backwards. So I put my right knee forward from here. I'm going to open up and reach with my left elbow, with my right elbow. So fingertips to the base of the neck, twisting, coming back down, rotating still through the spine. But really what you're going to find over and above all of that hip stretch. I can see somebody looking at me going, what's she doing with her arm? Yeah, good. So nice, Frida. So hands to the neck, tap in, and then lift it open. And you'll see my knees are both on the floor, shins are both on the floor, my hips are lifted. I'm reaching up and looking over. I'm just going to change position so you can get good angles if you're unsure. And then if the mobility is there, or if it's building as you go through this, as it should be, feel free to slide that back leg down a little bit more. Perfect. All right, now let's change sides. So drag the back knee out. Nice when you're doing this at home in your jammies and your comfy carpet. It makes it a bit easier to slide around. Start quite upright. Elbows down. Find your position for the chest. Opposite hand is coming to the back neck. And then twisting open. Excellent. Good. What you'll notice is if you're opening the wrong side, you won't feel the stretch in the outer hip quite as much, but you will find the balance. For me, this is really intense on my outside glute. So glute medius, even glute, then up there. Really feel that. Again, the external rotators of the knees is really good for opening up for sports. Building nice strong hips. Perfect, and rest. All right, we're on the ground, so let's just stay here. Let's just make this last one enjoyable. We're going to come on down to the floor. Give me a wave if you can't see me, if I've gone off screen because I'm so buried in my own carpet. We're going to bring arms out in front. You can support with the head if you prefer. I'm going to lengthen the legs from here. So nice and straight. They don't have to be razor straight. You don't have to be a ballerina to get the best out of this one. You don't have to be crazy mobile. I'm going to lift the top knee. Open it round. You can use the other hand to keep the hip grounded if that feels good. Bottom hip if it wants to lift, or you can pinch it with the opposite hand. Try to relax down if you can. And we're just taking big circular movements. Now, to create a stretch, as we say, it's about control, right? If you look at ballet dancers, as just one example, or gymnasts perhaps, you know, the strength they have is unreal. And that has a lot to do with how we create range. So when we're going through this, I'm not just thinking, well, I'm not flexible. I want you to think, I'm controlled. I'm going to use my breath to squeeze my muscles to create nice, big, open range in my hips. So think about contracting the glutes, the bum on the outside of the hip to generate more movement. Let's do one more. It's so hard not to hold your breath. That's what I always find. All right, and changing sides. And that is our body's reaction to stress, isn't it? Is to go, stop breathing, panic. So just letting our body know that it's all good. So important. The second side, and maybe pinning that bottom leg down. You can make small adjustments based on what feels good for you. Maybe holding the core tight. Relax the face as well as the breath. And we're almost at the end of our class today. So if some of you are darting off, this is the last move, and then we're going to come full circle, which we always do, but particularly appropriate on a rotation-based workout, right? So we're going to come full circle to doing our breath. Lovely, lots of clunking, clicking, really getting things moving inside. 2 to go. Should start to feel quite heavy work now for your body. We've done a lot this morning, lots of work. Last one. Good, nice to see some height in those legs, really good. All right. And let's come to our seated. Good, Katie, that was lovely. Really nice to see some good range and the hips happening. I know that's hard for you. Coming into a seated position, as it is for all of us in those ones. 2 minutes we go through, and as I suggested in the beginning, you can do that standing, seated. You can do it wiggling your fingers if you're a bit more of a fidgeter, or you can just completely relax onto the ground and stare at the ceiling if you like. I'm going to close my eyes. So 2 minutes here. Tips for fidgeters, one of my top ones. Count your breaths. So inhale, exhale is 1. You might want to count that on your fingers, give your hands something to do. And see how many you can count before your mind starts to wander. That's a good check-in to see how kind of chill you are or how busy your head might be. I use that almost every day with myself to check how peaceful I am or how distracted I feel. And if you catch yourself thinking, I've not got time for this, it's probably exactly why you should be here. Excellent. So lengthen that spine. Where is it? Right from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head, that lightness. Or maybe you feel the feet spread, the warmth or coldness in your toes there. And as we began, we're going to come into that full circle, closing up with 2 breaths here. Nice full belly breaths, big puffy barrel, baby belly breaths. One more. Lovely. Take the first stretch that feels good. Oh, one of those morning stretches you take in bed, right? Yeah, everyone goes with the arms up like, ugh, or maybe a twist. Yeah, that's nice. Really nice. Really good. So that's us listening to our body right there, just doing what feels good. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really good to see you all prioritizing your movement. I love that. Such a gorgeous group. If you have any questions, please send them my way. If you have any thing you'd like me to cover that you're really into at the moment, I love that kind of energy. Do post in the group. Do tag us in your mobility when you're doing it at home on your own, because it's really good for us and it's really good for you as well to keep that accountability going. Brilliant day, everyone.
Thanks, Willow.
See you next time. Thank you.